gums at each other any chance they get. The fight clock is brought to you by Modelo. One of the greatest knockouts you'll ever see! It's time!
For you to sit back, relax, and listen to a complete and fucking utter armchair expert give his completely and utterly useless opinions on the one hell of an amazing sport that is MMA.
G'day guys, you'll have to forgive me if this is a bit of a lower energy output or a bit haphazardly put together than normal. It's literally nearly 5 o'clock in the morning, and I've just woken up. Didn't plan on waking up now. I didn't even have an alarm set. I just randomly woke up at like 4:30 in the morning because that's the time UFC 308's on, and I'm gonna have to try and watch it now. I haven't even brought anything yet, so that's gonna be fun. But I'm not even going to do this with any breaks, to be honest. It's, definitely going to be very much shorter one than normal, but I'm just going to get straight into it. So UFC 307, definitely went down. Kayla Harrison won her women's bantamweight fight. Mario Bautista defeated Jose Aldo in a very questionable decision. Juliana Pena got the women's bantamweight title back, and it's said that Amanda Nunes was watching it very closely. God, I hope she doesn't come back. She had the perfect retirement, man. I hope she doesn't come back. But in the main event, Alex Pereira retained his light heavyweight, which I got wrong, by the way, in the last podcast. I got that wrong. I kept calling it the heavyweight title. I don't know why. Maybe because I was talking about John Jones in the podcast. But he defended his light heavyweight championship in quite an unexpected way. I thought Khalil Rountree would last to the second, maybe third round at most, and that it'd be a violent knockout. But to his credit, he stand and banged with Alex. It was a violent fight. He had to go to hospital afterwards. I think he had a broken nose, and it ended literally at the end of round 4 by TKO. Yeah, that was quite a good fight. Unfortunately, it kept cutting out because the place I was at, I wasn't watching it at 5 a.m. like I'm trying to now, of course. But the Foxtel kept cutting out. So it did cut out once during the main event, which was annoying, but I got to see most of it, or the most important parts of it anyway. But yeah, that was UFC 307, guys. Wasn't as stacked as this card coming up is, which is why it's annoying that it's on at the time it is. But yeah, it was okay. I had a few good fights on it and a few that weren't so good, but yeah, man. Like I said, I apologize if this is done haphazardly. I'm literally trying to scramble to get this done because I'm obviously going to have to mix and master it as well. I may well not even have to schedule it. It's there's a good chance that there's a good chance that I may even just be uploading it at 6 a.m. But I'm not even going to take a break because I don't have the time. So, UFC 308. This is literally how early it is. When I'm looking it up on Google, it says it's an ongoing mixed martial arts event at the Etihad Arena in Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates. Starts at 5 a.m. here in Australia, but I'm going to go to the UFC website like always. These are prelims. These are the prelims, yep. So apparently, the card was supposed to have Cyril Gane versus Alex Volkov on it, but that got cancelled, sadly. So there's a couple of fights that I'm probably going to be mixing the podcast during. Won't be really bothered watching, but of course, the two main fights that I'm worried about are the co-main event of the evening. We're finally getting it, ladies and gentlemen. It's taken over a year to make this fight. The middleweight bout between number 3 ranked Robert Bobby Knuckles Whittaker, former middleweight champion, against number 13 ranked Khamzat Chimaev. They're saying that Chimaev is the favourite, unsurprisingly. Bobby Knuckles is the underdog. That's going to be a banger of a fight, and I'm looking forward to watching that. If I can, of course. Don't know how I'm going to watch it. I'm going to buy it somehow, looking forward to it. But, of course, the main event of the evening for the UFC featherweight title, Ilia Topuria versus Max Blessed Holloway. More than excited for this one, man. Of course, Max had that banger at UFC 300 with Justin Gaethje for the BMF title. Won it in the most BMF way possible, and now, like I said, I wondered how he felt after it got announced that Volk was fighting Ilia for the title, or that he lost the title. I wondered how he felt, given the Gaethje fight had already been announced, and now he's getting his chance at gold, man, which I'm glad about. I hope he not only beats, but he sleeps Topuria, because he's a bit of a loudmouth, you know. He got a former dominant champion, 3 months after a devastating knockout, 3 or 4 months, something like that. He KO'd him, and then after that he thinks he could call Conor out at 145 of all places, where Conor hasn't fought in close to, if not over, a decade. Like, yeah. he didn't give Volk any respect, in my opinion, and I hope that Max, who obviously had that acclaimed trilogy with Volk, not only beats but sleeps him and has another run at gold, because he thoroughly deserves it. They're saying he's the underdog, which, no surprise. But I really hope that it goes the way that I'm hoping it does. But yeah, that's UFC 308, which is currently ongoing as we speak at the Etihad Arena in Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates. I really wish it was not at this crazy time. Because, yeah. But anyway, just want to talk about a few other things before I finish the podcast off. I tweeted the day after UFC 307 saying that just after I did the last podcast, I realized that it's 6 years pretty much to the day that Conor McGregor fought Khabib Nurmagomedov at UFC 229 in what to this day is, I believe, their biggest buy rate for a pay-per-view. I said gate in the tweet. I made a mistake there. 2.4 million people brought the UFC 229 pay-per-view. Yeah, Conor McGregor lost to Khabib Nurmagomedov 6 years ago, pretty much, to the day exactly, like I said, because it was October 6th. And, of course, as we remember from that infamous press conference, Conor saying, "Can't wait till October 6th. Finish your career." Of course, it didn't happen that way. But now, 6 years later, Conor's on live streams calling the very same guy who's about to fight in this main event little ding-dong of a thing, huh? God, how things have changed. Or how times have changed. But, yeah, that's the way things go, I guess. Of course, the UFC announced that UFC 312 is once again coming to Sydney, which I'm a little upset about. There's a lot of talk that Volk could be on it. Volk came out and was like, "I don't care if I'm cleared to fight or not," or whatever he said. He's like, I'll spin the DJ decks if I have to. I'm coming to UFC 312. Don't know if they're going to have Izzy on there. I mean, Izzy was on the last Sydney card, so it probably doesn't really matter if he's on there or not. Given he just fought and lost to DDP. But yeah, I don't know how that's going to go. I'm a little sad it's not in Melbourne. But yeah, is what it is, I suppose. Yeah. So yeah, of course, it is what it is, guys. I'm up at 5 a.m. watching this event or trying to. Of course, UFC 309's coming up. Jared Miocic, can't wait for that. That'll be on at a decent time, thank God. And I'll be going with me mates to watch that most likely. But yeah, that's the podcast, guys. That's UFC 308. Sorry, it's a little low output and a little short, but oh well. Hope you guys enjoy this fight. Wherever you watch it from, whether you're in America and you're lucky enough to watch it at a decent time, or like me, you got to wake up at 5 a.m. and quickly, haphazardly do the podcast, most likely put it out at 6 a.m. And scramble to try and find a way to watch it. But yeah, is what it is. Hope you guys do enjoy it from wherever you watch it from. Like I said, sorry it's a little short and snappy. Didn't even have breaks in this podcast, but as I said, I'm scrambling for time and I just woke up. But yeah, hope you guys enjoy it from wherever you're watching it from. Looking forward to UFC 309. Until the next one, as always, catches.